Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to the next level, and ultimately follow your dreams. Today, we're going to be talking about something we all must know: how to increase brand awareness. If you don't have a good, solid, strong brand, you're doomed. You're either going to crash and burn, or you're going to be stagnant and just do the same old thing every single year. Because the strong brand is what makes you grow, the strong brand is what keeps you around, and the strong brand is what makes things happen. We're going to talk about that today. So, if your target market, and a target market is where are you aiming for? Who is your customer? We know at McAfee, we know exactly who our target market is. We know about their age, we know about their value of their home, and we know about their income level. We got a target market. And then we know the demographics of where we go and where that target market is, okay? So if your target market does not recognize or trust your brand, exactly how will you raise your customer base as well as your sales? So that has got to happen. We're going to talk about how to do that today, but that has got to happen. They have got to recognize you, and they have got to trust your brand. I've said this often on this show, but the number one reason people call McAfee is they trust us. We've done multiple surveys on why do you call McAfee? Because we trust them. Okay? Now, Jeff Bezos said your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And that's true. Your brand is what others say about you when you're not in the room. Because they're always going to say something nice about your brand when you're in the room. Okay? And the English dictionary said brand is the name of a product that a certain company makes. Brand can describe a product and also the company. And companies fight to make a strong brand that can take them to becoming first in their market. Very powerful. And I write in my book right here that how to build and grow an HVAC business. I write in there about becoming first to market and how important that is. And I think I even write about the pros and cons of first in the market, okay? But the pros, to me, outweigh the cons all day long. You've got to take a risk. It may work, it may not, but you've got to take a risk and you've got to jump in. And when we jumped in with several things, first in the market, we excelled. It took a long time, if still today, for people to catch up with us, okay? So there's always a top brand. In every market, in every industry, there's always one that floats to the top, and it's a top brand, it's a strong brand, it's a leading company that has the ability to get a wider market, but not only a wider market, a deeper market. What do you mean by that, Greg? Well, because we go deep with people. Now, I have coached hundreds of companies, hundreds of entrepreneurs, but I can only talk about my company best because I know it best. And at McAfee, we brand deep. Sure, we hope it goes wide. Of course, we hope it goes wide. The wider it goes, the more new customers we acquire. And of course, we hope it goes wide, but our branding goes deep. It's deep. It gets into people's hearts. It gets into their mind. They use us because they like us. They use us because they can relate to us, which I'm going to talk more about later. And we go wider and deeper because we just don't have competition who does. Okay? I talked about a week or two ago about competition and what I feel about it. And There's nothing wrong with good competition, but good competition is rare today. It's rare. Even my biggest competitor, all they can do is bash us. All they can do is say negative about us. All they can do is use the low life mentality line of negative saying stuff about McAfee Heating and Air. And I got news for you folks. That will get you nowhere except the bottom of the line. It rarely works. Nobody wants to hear negative. And we do the opposite. We say, they're a great company and they're one of our largest competitors, but we beat them most of the time. Okay? People like that. They like that. Of course they like to be on the underdog side, but they like to be with winners. The best, busiest, most productive, successful restaurants are packed full, and you will wait 30 to 60 minutes to get into it. And like it or not, you will wait because it's the best. Okay? And people are willing to go above and beyond for the best. Okay? While this other restaurant down the road has 4 or 5 cars in it, this one has 50 or 60 cars. It's packed full. People like the service, they like the food, etc. Okay? It works the same way in any small business. People will flock to the good service. People will flock to the positive. People will flock to who they agree with and who they appreciate. Okay? We're not just a heating and air conditioning company. We're much, much more than that. So, even if the competitor appears, the leading company has got experiences and they own the market, making them have a lot of benefit in closing the sale. Bottom line, a strong brand must continue to keep growing. And that's a whole nother class, how to keep your strong brand growing. We've been number one. We found out we were number one in 2016, and we've stayed number one for 7 years. And there's a lot to that. Sometimes it's harder to stay number one than it is to get to number one. Out of 489 or so HVAC companies, we climbed that ladder to number one. But it's hard to stay number one. We've got targets on every side of us, front, back, side, top, bottom. People like that competitor I just told you about, they're shooting arrows at us. They don't know how to compete with us, so they shoot arrows of negativity at us. That's all they can do. They don't know how to do anything else. They're weak. They're low life. Okay, now I'm going to give you some examples here. We're going to talk about strong brand today. I'll give you some examples that you've heard of. Apple, Tesla, McDonald's. Like McDonald's or not, extremely strong brand. They just recently figured out how strong they were when they tried to change some of the ingredients to some of their best sandwiches, and then they failed. It's like changing to the new Coke. Bad idea, folks. Google, Nike. I just watched the movie Air last night, and minus the umpteen thousand F-bombs, it was an excellent movie. It was motivating. It was business growth motivating. It was inspiring. They could have left out all the F words and it would have still been just as good, if not better. But that's another story. Okay? But what do you think about a brand? And by the way, Coca-Cola is up there too. But what do you think about a brand that has such a strong name that it's used as a generic descriptor for the product, such as Kleenex? Kleenex is just a tissue, but what do you say? I need a Kleenex. Velcro. Velcro is a locking device, and its name is Velcro, but you say I need some Velcro here. How about Polaroid? Now, Polaroid was number one camera for many years, and it was so number one that when people referred to taking a picture, they would say, let's get a Polaroid of us. What has happened since then, we can't control. Xerox. Let's make a Xerox of this. It's just a copy. A Band-Aid. It's a bandage. Band-Aid is a brand name. How about thermos? You ever think of that? It's a drinking device. It's a container we drink from, but we call it, I need a new thermos. I mean, who wouldn't want their customer to use the brand name as often as these do? Now, some of those brands, like I said, fell victim to their own success, but that is another story. Don't let success go to your head. Stay humble, or you shall stumble and fall. And Henry Ford said, you can't build a reputation on what you're not going to do. So, in other words, a lot of people are all talk. You can't build a reputation on talk. You've got to make things happen. So I'm going to give you 5 ways to make things happen, build a stronger brand, and and build awareness of your brand. Are you ready? I'm going to give you 5 things here. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1, be confident. I teach this in almost every setting. Confidence is the key to many things. I just taught a class to our service technicians on confidence. When you're confident, it makes a whole different experience for the customer. They like confidence. They like that you know what you're talking about. But be confident in building your brand. Like people, brands must be confident to succeed and leave a legacy behind. Watching that Air movie, they said something like, Michael Jordan is a brand. There was a lot that went into that. And I've read a lot about his trainer and I did a podcast on it about how he was trained differently for brand's sake. And they said in that movie, we might all die and very few of us are going to be remembered long. But Michael Jordan is going to be remembered for a very, very, very long time. He was the best basketball player ever. Okay, so brand confidence is the perception that a brand's target audience would have about the state of affairs, the capabilities, and ultimately the trustworthiness of that brand. So that's brand confidence. And you've got to be confident in your brand. If you're a small business, you've got to be confident in your brand. And I'm not talking about the line you carry. There's national brands that you carry, and that's what happened to us. We were carrying a national brand for 13 years. We were a loyal national brand dealer, first 13 years in business. And I got to branding them so well that customers were calling in thinking we were them. And during that process of considering private label, it dawned on me, if I'm going to invest in a name, I'm going to invest in my own name. And 20 years ago, we started private labeling and never looked back. And today, surveys show that the McAfee brand, the McAfee system, climbed higher in recognition and top of mind than the national brand I carried for 13 years. So it worked. I branded the McAfee name. It's known for trust. It's known for quality. It's known for made in the USA. It's known for patriotism. It's known for liberty. It's known for a lot of things. It's known for doing things right or don't do them. It's known for a lot of things. And you can put many different brands of equipment up here, and that McAfee name is solid in my territory. Now, it has no meaning in another territory, another area of the country. But here, I've spent time and effort and money in branding my private label, and it is strong, like no other that I know of. All right, so be confident. Number 2, be consistent. Very important. I talk about this often. Brand consistency is the practice of always delivering messages aligned with the core brand values in the same tone. So the McAfee brand has everything to do with the McAfee way. The McAfee way is integrity and caring and consistency and culture and innovation and teamwork. It all funnels into that brand. All that right there funnels into that brand. We spend a lot of time on this. We spend a lot of time training it. So be consistent. We present the brand logo in a similar way and repeat the same colors, the same color looking truck throughout the whole visual brand of elements that we have, from the truck to the building to the technician to the how we answer the phone. It's all similar and consistent. And over time, these elements become ingrained in the minds of consumers and people in our area. And they get it. It's a McAfee. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee. Okay? So it's who we are. It's what we do, and I love it. I'm so passionate about it. So be confident. Be consistent. Number 3, be good at taking care of customers like no other. Like no other. Make it important to you. It'll be important to your whole team. A new study shows that when brands invest the time and effort to connect with consumers, it pays off. Brands should play a role in improving quality of life. And that's why I said, we're not just a box. We get into people's heads and hearts, and we change the quality of life. We make it better. Brands should play a role in improving the quality of life and not just selling boxes. I wrote that, and it's pretty darn good. Top brands enhance personal well-being. Think about that. Top brands enhance personal well-being and the well-being of the community. Wow. Most business owners that watch or listen to this podcast are in the home service industry. We're dealing with homeowners. It's important to take care of them like nobody else does. And talk is cheap, because you can get on the radio or TV and you can say that we do this or that, but then you don't follow through with it. We do our best to follow through with it. We're not just talk, we're action. We put it into action. We make things happen. Like Henry Ford said, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. You have to do it. Talk is cheap. Quit talking and do it. So you got to be confident. You got to be consistent. You got to be good at taking care of customers, and you got to be relatable. People have to relate to you. That's what I mentioned earlier. They have to relate to you. It's part of the brand. See, the majority of my customers relate to me. Or the majority of my customers relate to me. The majority of my customer base relate to me. Now, there's a small portion that may not even like me. And that's okay. I can't make everybody like me. I'm not here to make everybody like me. It's a very small portion. And there's other heating and air conditioning companies out there that can serve them well. But the majority of my customer base like me, believe in me, trust me, identify with me, agree with me on a lot of my beliefs. And I'm very open about my political beliefs, and I'm pretty open with what I believe about God and Jesus, my Savior. I'm very open about that. I don't hide that. Why would I hide that? Especially when the Bible says if you don't talk about Jesus and God, then he won't talk about you. Something similar to that. That's Greg's version. I didn't have that plan. I don't have it wrote out here in Scripture. But if you're ashamed of him, he'll be ashamed of you, basically. Okay. So you got to be relatable. Today we tend to be more divided than united. And it's too easy to see why when we have presidents of the United States dividing us, in a country, leaders in a country dividing us. They're wanting us divided. We're not strong when we're divided. We're strong when we're united. And we don't allow certain things to happen. In the past, we never allowed certain things to happen. And today, we're just allowing them to happen. We're sitting there watching them happen, and we allow it. And that's sad. Both parties are guilty. I'm not here for one party. Both parties are guilty. Passing a bill where we can borrow as much as we want. Is that ridiculous? And if you think it's fine, then you're affecting your kids and your grandkids and their grandkids and the future of America. And I get extremely passionate about that. As a business brand, we must do our best for the majority to relate to us. I'm not out to win everybody. A lot of people are not our customer. We're not for them. They're not for us. It's okay. Don't try to be for everybody. You're going to be very disappointed if you do. You're not going to please everybody, and you're not going to have everybody as a customer. In most territories, the leader only has somewhere between 5 and 7% of the market share. So you're not going to have every customer. Unheard of. So you got to realize that and then focus on the ones that use you, love you, relate to you. As a business brand, we must do our best for the majority to relate to us, understand us, and actually get us. My customers get me. They get our company. They like the great service. They like the quick service. They like the one-day install. They like the after-hours service, 8 to 8, same great rate. They like that. They like, I stand for the community. I support the community. I stand for God. I stand for what's right. They like that. And when that happens, when you make that happen, a brand becomes a top brand, and it's hard to stop a top brand. It really is. Okay, last, be reputable. Last of the 5, be reputable. Having a trustworthy brand is an important business asset. More so in the contractor home service arena because we deal with Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, and they must trust us. Business trustworthiness is not something that is easily earned. It takes time. And one of our sayings is we'd rather give it to you than take it from you. So we build trust. They trust us, or they wouldn't use us. They trust us. And I trust them. My customers pay well. My customers do what they say they're going to do. We have very few people that screw us out of paying us, not paying us. I mean, it just doesn't happen here. So wrapping it up, Steve Forbes said, your brand is the single most important investment you can make in your business. Make it strong. Okay? Make it strong. Maintaining brand awareness is definitely a crucial thing for your brand's progress. And do it now. Make it happen. Start building something. Stand for something. Stand for something the majority of your customers will appreciate and agree with and relate to. That's how you build a strong brand. I mean, there's multi things that come into this funnel, but these are the 5 things we're going to focus on today. Okay? Be confident, be consistent, take care of customers, be relatable, and be reputable. I hope this helps you. So before we wrap up, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. below. You can also support this podcast by rating and reviewing it on iTunes or your preferred listening platform. Keep listening. I'll keep challenging you. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Greg McAfee Show. No spaces, no underscores. Be sure to tune in next week as I'll continue to talk about growing business, building a stronger brand, helping you sleep better at night. Thanks for listening, and as always, carry on. Have a great day, and God bless.